Quiet, Piggy. Good morning, everyone. What a lovely way to wake up is hearing the president call a reporter Piggy. I'm sure the right doesn't care. But, I talk about how my dad was a narcissist, and that's part of why Trump is like second nature to me. I just can read him. I know where he's going. As well as you can know. And so for some people, they look at Trump and go, oh, he's such annoying. He's the pig. He's such a chauvinist, misogynist piece of shit. All true. But for me, I heard that, and I heard my dad. And I've often said, like, had my dad had money, he would have probably become a Trump. Like, he was very cult leader. Our family ran like that. And inside of the Mormon cult, I could do a series on my father alone, the stories. But my sister's here, and we were talking about, I said, I don't know that he could have ever gotten as far as Trump, though, because he had a temper. But then again, I was thinking back then, it was easier to have a temper. Although it sounds like a lot of politicians have temper problems. Like I've heard that stuff about Katie Porter. And so it's just like, maybe that's acceptable in those circles. I don't know. But that is how my dad was. And yet he was like Trump, where it's like, I know that Trump wanted a woman VP. Like, I know he'd have been all over Sarah Palin at the time, figuratively, metaphorically. But my dad was like that. Like, he loved strong, smart women. Like, and he loved women, and he loved beautiful women. You know what I mean? But like, he thinks my sisters are smarter than the boys. So it's weird because it's like he really loved that and promoted that. Like, I never felt like as a woman or a girl growing up that I couldn't be whatever I wanted to be. Like, I never felt that. I know some people do, but I never felt that. And yet I'm like, he would have been like Trump, where he would have wanted that. But then how quickly that reporter, if those women would have come at him, that's the way he would have acted. But my dad also, like, when I was 12, we were in church and he was teaching Sunday school to people my age. I was in the room. We just moved there and I was very shy. You'd be shocked, I know. But like, I didn't speak. I did not speak unless spoken to. And if I did, I'd probably cry. But we were in church and this kid kept talking in the classroom when my dad was trying to teach the lesson. He told him to be quiet and he didn't. And so he ran up and he grabbed him by the throat. Held him up in the chair and was like, are you going to listen to me? Kind of like little Piggy. And which was very hard because I was protective of my dad because he was my dad. So I would leave the room crying when everyone's going, what the fuck, bro? And I'm like, welcome to the new kid, because my dad moved us around every year. So yeah, I was basically mute for the first, I don't know how many years of my life, unless I was at home. So anyway, to watch that is just super interesting because it was like, and my sister and I were talking about how my dad and the press, like, as much as Trump fights with the press, my dad, he would have been obsessed with it. If anybody in there would have called him out, he probably would have flipped the podium over and beat the crap out of him because he had a wicked temper and he would fight. So I don't know, just hearing that, like, my dad, and he was obsessed about weight like Trump is. But my dad was a chiropractor. We had the first health food store, one of the first ones in Northern California. So that was like his thing. But so no one could be fat. You had to look a certain way. And like, my dad would weigh us, measure us on our chore charts. Like, exercising was on there when I was, I think, second grade. He'd get us up at 4 a.m. to exercise. And one time we were going to church, I was like 15 years old, and I had a dress on that had like a drop waist. So the waistline was more around like your hips. So it was straighter here, and then the skirt flowed out. And I'd worn it, I don't know how many times. I was the oldest of 7 kids, and we're headed to church in our big van. And my dad sees me in that dress. He stops the car, drags me back inside the house, rips open my closet. He's throwing everything out to find a belt. Normally he'd hit me with the belt, but this time he took it out and he cinched it around my waist, like as small as you can go. And I already weighed like 105 pounds. And because and was screaming that I wasn't allowed to go out of the house without having a waistline. And then he put me back in the car. Cried all the way there. Told me to stop my crying, of course. But it's like, for some reason, just that, like, you know, hey Piggy, little Piggy, whatever, shut up Piggy. Yeah, that's how my dad spoke, and he could not handle anyone that didn't look a certain way. So yes, body dysmorphia, oh yeah. Eating disorders, oh yeah. Like, even though logically, you know, none of that makes sense, it's like your brain gets hardwired as a child and you live that way your whole life. And in the Mormon cult, it's so much worse. Like, the most plastic surgeons per capita is Utah, and it is not even close. There's an estate that comes close. There's like one person for every, I don't know. It's very low, and it's very scary when they tell you the per capita of that. I don't even know how that's possible. But anyway, so yeah, one comment like that sends me to my childhood, to being a teen, and then also this weird confusion, like how my dad loved women like that. Like, my dad voted Republican his whole life, and I absolutely believe he would have voted for Kamala, because he loves a smart, sassy, attractive woman, and he would have voted for her.